Hello and welcome to another episode of the Flop Sports Podcast. This is episode 15. I, of course, am Preston. I have Danny with me. Danny, would you like to introduce our guest star for the evening?
Well, we have a very special guest star, and his name is Charlie Spiller. It's my dad.
Hey, guys.
The original CJ Spiller.
That's right. The real CJ Spiller.
As the other CJ Spiller would put it.
That's right.
I inherited my Patriots fandom from my dad, so I have him to thank for all the people that don't like me. But here we are, day after the Super Bowl. Dad, how do you feel about that riveting, high-scoring game?
Oh man, it was so intense. It was hard to sit there the whole time. No, but as far as I was concerned, if it ended 3-0, I still would have been happy.
I mean, you know, speaking as someone that's a Falcons fan, I've never gotten to experience one of these Super Bowls, you call them? Is that a Super Bowl title? Is that what you call it? I think some other team took that from us that shall not be named, even though we're going to talk about them a lot on this podcast. But does it feel any different with number 6 now?
This one feels pretty good because everybody wrote them off this year.
As they would tell you.
That's right. And they came out in the first round of the playoffs and they looked like a completely different team.
Yeah, tell us about the transformation you saw in this team. I remember at the beginning of the year, you and I texting, being like, wow, this team can't stop anybody. We're done for this year. So what changed?
There's no way they can win a Super Bowl with this defense.
Yeah.
And I guess, yeah, you couldn't win a Super Bowl with this defense, and yet there they are holding one of the best offenses in the NFL to 3 points.
Yeah, it seems like every year, early in the season, everybody writes them off because they're experimenting, and it takes them until usually about November to get their identity, and then all of a sudden they look like they looked at the end of this season. So, but it felt different this year. It really did feel like they were in trouble.
Well, that's what a lot of people were kind of saying, especially after that Jaguars loss earlier on in the season. And that's kind of when people were really quick to be like, yep, this team's done. They just don't have it anymore. And I was like, I don't believe that, because I have seen this Patriots team do some pretty incredible things late in the season. So I never really truly wrote them off. I rooted against them every single week, hoping that this would be it. But of course, they held on. They held on.
For me, it was the Tennessee game. You know, it was relatively late in the season, and they got blown out by Tennessee. And it was like, really? Is the season over? And then they lost Josh Gordon, and yeah. Danny and I both thought that was the end.
Yep.
Danny, how do you feel? At number 6, you got one for the other hand now.
I feel great. I feel spoiled. You know, my dad grew up with no good teams, especially the Patriots, and here I am. I don't know anything else. Let's dive into the game a little bit. I read a really interesting tweet talking about how, you know, we all make jokes about how Sean McVay is literally doing everything but throw the ball for Jared Goff. And apparently that's not just a joke, because Belichick and the defensive staff kind of assume that was true also. So apparently what they did is they'd go onto the field and the defense would have 2 or 3 or 4 different formations that they were going to play, and they would change their formation after the communication got shut off between the helmets. And apparently that was a big part of what made it so hard for Goff to get anything going in the game.
I fully believe that. I mean, because it looked like at times like his only option was to drop back and throw it as far downfield as he could and hope for the best, because that's literally all they had. I mean, that last play for them, you know, when Gilmore had the interception there that pretty much sealed the game, that's it. That's what it looked like. I mean, the pressure, I don't think the pressure was that great on Goff all night. I just think this Patriots defense just forced him into bad decisions because he didn't know what he was looking at out there on the field. And I mean, it doesn't look great for Goff right now after that. It doesn't look like he's that, Pro Bowl quarterback that we've all been touting all season, a potential MVP guy down the road. He kind of seems like, like Sean McVay is doing everything but throwing the ball.
Yeah, the other thing was they took away the deep ball, and they made him he had to do everything in front of the defensive backs, and I think that was also a big part of their game plan. The only time anyone got deep was when Cooks got free in the end zone, and then the ball just seemed like it hung up there forever, and it gave McCourty a chance to get there from about 30 yards away. And that was basically their last stand, I think.
Now, let me ask this, because this is a big story coming into this, and it still is a pretty big story. Todd Gurley, he was the MVP of this team all throughout the season. And then we get to these last couple playoff games, and he has just completely disappeared. I know he's had problems with a knee injury, but I mean, how much of a benefit is that for the Patriots that they don't even have to worry about that guy because he's not in the game?
That was huge. He absolutely had to be hurt.
Yeah, I can't see any other reason why you'd only give him like a couple carries.
And even though they kept saying he wasn't hurt and he wasn't on the injury report, when they interviewed C.J. Anderson after the game, he said, well, I talked to Todd, and he said he was going to give it as much as he could. And that right there says that he had to have been hurt.
Yeah, because that wasn't much.
No, really. The one good play he had got called back for holding.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you do wonder if it would have been a different game if he'd been healthy and if Cooper Kupp had been healthy.
Yeah, another weapon.
Thankfully, we'll never know.
Yeah, thankfully for y'all.
That's the breaks of the game sometimes.
Yep.
Now I've seen some great memes since yesterday about the Rams coverage of Julian Edelman, who basically just seemed like, I saw this one of like a fence up and a dog just like going straight through the fence, and like, that's basically what they think they had this big old fence up. That was their plan, and then Edelman just went right through it. What do y'all think of his performance? I mean, some people saying he was solidifying a Hall of Fame candidacy there with that performance.
Well, he was uncoverable in that game, basically. And his postseason statistics would put him in that conversation. Remains to be seen whether the full package, including the regular season, would be enough. But his postseason numbers that appear to be second only to Jerry Rice. That's pretty good company.
If you're going to turn it on at any time, the postseason's the time to do it.
And he's had, I think they said something like, I can't remember the exact number of games, but he's had like at least five catches in his last at least 6 playoff games, something like that.
Danny, your thoughts on your little wide receiver there?
Man, I really feel like Tony Romo summed it up for us during the whole game by just being like, Brady's gonna throw it to Edelman every single play.
And there he did. He did it. Now, I heard a lot of debate about this because, people are saying, the defense held them to 3 points. Shouldn't someone like, Stephon Gilmore have been MVP of the game? I mean, what do you think, Danny?
Yeah, I read a tweet, someone listed his stats out and why he should have won, and I was like, yeah, he should have won.
I mean, at this point, we're just picking and choosing because y'all already got the real Super Bowl, and everyone's just debating who should be the MVP. But I saw a ton of media members that I'm friends with and follow on Twitter, and I saw them post their ballots from Atlanta, and they said they voted for Julian Edelman. So clearly, maybe there was something in person that we couldn't see, or maybe that we did see because he had 10 catches for 140 yards or something like that.
Yep.
10 for 141.
Yeah. So.
And it seemed like just about everyone gave them a first down. And I think
Right.
part of the reason that he got the MVP was because they ran so many plays. They kept that defense out on the field in the first half, 44 plays. And based on that, you had to think, just like prior Super Bowls, that at some point that would cause the defense to wear down, and it clearly did late in the game.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we're not even talking about the biggest catch of the night. What didn't come from Edelman, but it was your boy Rob Gronkowski. I mean, that catch down there near the goal line to give the game its only goal line snap of the game and the only touchdown of the game. But I mean, just talk about, he had a great game too. And I mean, not a lot of people are talking about his performance, but I mean, just reliable out there, it seemed like.
Seemed like they saved him for the playoffs. They tried to keep him fresh. And his best games were in the playoffs. But it seemed like the only question anyone wanted to ask him after the game was if he was retiring.
Oh, that he got asked that numerous times. I watched a couple of different post game shows, and yeah, he was, and he gave a pretty good answer every time. Saying he was just going to enjoy this moment right now. He had to compete with Bill Belichick because he said he was going to go out and party, and he couldn't let him out party him.
Yep.
So that was his focus at that time, and he'll worry about that stuff later. But I mean, yeah, what do y'all think? Do you think he comes back next year?
Well, I think, if Gronk comes back, it's for Brady. And if he doesn't, it's because he broke his back 5 times, and you can't blame him for being tired of that.
Yeah. He could also come back for $9 million that he has left on his contract.
I mean, money talks, I guess. Yeah, I mean, I think it's a very different offense without Gronkowski. Just because I think the threat of him being there is something, because even early on in the season when the Patriots are struggling to get going in the passing game, especially, they always at least had Gronkowski. Hopefully Edelman doesn't get another suspension to sit out the first half of next season. I'm not crossing my fingers that he does or anything, but hopefully that doesn't happen, and hopefully they can get some other receivers in there. I've heard they're still connected to Josh Gordon if he does come back. So I mean, that's always a possibility. They can always take another 5'11", short white
quarterback
slot receiver from college and turn him into a all-star. I mean, seems to be the Patriot way.
Yeah, maybe they'll bring back Danny Amendola.
Yeah.
The other thing about Gronk is what a great blocker he is.
Yeah.
He really was one of the keys. Him and Devlin. It's like having 7 offensive linemen out there when they're in the run game.
I mean, you've made a huge point right there, because I don't think Gronk, and especially Devlin, I don't think they get near enough credit for the blocking that they do out there. Like, Sony Michel turned it on in these playoffs, and a lot of that had to do with the blocking. I mean, they have a good offensive line there, but Devlin, I could just count numerous times where he would just pick up that extra block that would give Michel a first down or get him into the end zone. Definitely, I mean, in an age where fullbacks are becoming kind of obsolete, like, Devlin has found a place for him.
Yeah, Belichick loves Devlin. But going back to the MVP thing for a minute, if you could have voted for Belichick, I think the coaching staff was really the MVPs.
Well, then I'm seeing today, because, obviously the Dolphins announced Brian Flores as their next head coach today, and I'm seeing, day after Flores' defense keeps the Rams to 3 points, he gets the head coaching job in Miami, and I was like, it wasn't his defense. That was Belichick's defense.
Absolutely.
It's always been it.
Yep.
I don't know if you saw Steve Young after the game talking about it. He called that game was Belichick's Mona Lisa, Sistine Chapel. That it was, he considered it like the crowning glory to his defensive coaching career.
I feel like Belichick, just whenever everything was trending offense, you've had explosive offenses this year with the Chiefs and the Rams and some of these other teams, and he comes in there and he's like, you know what? Forget all that. We're gonna play, good, solid defense. Nothing flashy. There's no pick sixes or anything. Just 3 and out, get them off the field, win field possession. and then get your touchdown at the end of the day and win the game. It's as old school of football you can get, and it was actually the lowest scoring Super Bowl in the game's history, which kind of shocks me because, you know, the game's been going on for 53 years, and you would have thought someone scored less than 16 points. And I heard if you took the over on the game, you actually lost by like 40.5 points. That's insane.
It is.
And even, you know, some of the players on this Belichick defense, you know, a cast-off Jason McCourty, a Patrick Chung, who started his career with the Patriots and didn't fit, comes back and has a good run. Even a guy like Gilmore, who played really well. But last year, I remember being one of those Patriots fans who was like, I can't believe we paid this guy all this money and this is what we got. This year, you know, best corner on the team by far. Excellent adjustments, especially, as always, taking guys off the scrap heap and turning them into this.
It's crazy because, I mean, none of those guys are going to jump out to you, and I don't think you could find a single, you know, without a doubt, like, all-pro guy on that defense, but they played like the best defense in football last night. I mean, Trey Flowers is a solid player. Dante Hightower is a solid player. You know, you've got some other guys in there, Gilmore, but I don't think any of those guys really stand out. But as a collective, as a unit, you know, no one, if you give Belichick, you know, 2 weeks to prepare for a game, he's going to win that game. He's going to find a way to game plan and win that game.
He is amazing when you give him that much time. And by the way, Gilmore is all pro this year.
Oh, okay.
But he's the only one.
But like consistent. I don't like he hasn't been consistent all pro. Because like even in Buffalo he was up and down.
So they've had this dynasty now for 2 decades. And yesterday, the day before, Saturday, they had the first player from the Patriots that actually got elected to the Hall of Fame in Ty Law.
Yeah.
Wow.
And if you think back to all these other great dynasties, how many Pittsburgh Steelers from the 70s are in the Hall of Fame? Like the whole team.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're right. I mean,
the Green Bay Packers.
I think time always helps out a little bit because, I mean, I think Richard Seymour should be in the Hall of Fame as well. I mean, he was a tremendous force for that Patriots defense. And I mean, there's a couple other guys too. So hopefully, you know, some more Patriots start getting in the Hall of Fame. But it seems like it really, like, people just it's Tom Brady, it's Bill Belichick, and you could say, you know, there are other people around them, but it's just those two guys. And, you know, they've had some really solid guys around them on both offense and defense. That, you know, don't get nearly as much credit as they should.
Absolutely not. It's kind of like the old Moses Malone thing when he said,
Yes.
I could take 4 guys off the playground and beat you, and that seems what the Patriots always do.
That's exactly it. All right, looking ahead till next year. You know, there's a lot of off-season stuff that's going to happen. We're going to wait and see, you know, with Gronk. Obviously, Brady's already given his answer. You know, he'll be here for the rest of eternity. And I have some other stuff, but do we see the Patriots getting back? I mean, can we write them off again?
I don't think I can't sit here and say, yeah, they're definitely going back, but I also couldn't write them off.
Yeah. I mean, nor should you. I think they showed everyone this year, don't write them off. And it's real quick, just listening to like stuff that players say, and it's just like every time someone opens their mouth and says something about the Patriots, I'm like, what are you doing? Like, that is textbook bulletin board material for these guys. And like, they do listen to the media. Like, I know they listen to the media because they can quote back stuff to you that was said in the media. Like, they have their ears plugged, and like every time it's just like shoveling coal into the furnace of, you know, chip on your shoulder, and that like they end up with this massive chip on their shoulder, and they do this. So come on, world, like, just stop talking about them and just like, let's praise them.
You're
all
absolutely
next year.
right. Belichick looks for that bulletin board material to use in his weeks leading up to games, you know, during the his meetings and leading up to especially big games like this, he constantly looks for that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Danny, what do you think?
The mantra this year seemed to be too old, too slow. I've heard it like 100 times from everybody. I love it.
It drives me crazy when people start, giving them fuel for the fire. I'm like, just like talk nice about them. They've done some great stuff. Let's just talk nice about them.
Thank you, Max Kellerman.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. No one did it more than him this year. But Danny, what do you think? Do you think they have the ability to get back next year?
Oh, we'll be back. Stamp it.
Oh my gosh, spoken like a real Boston sports fan right there. I mean, is Celtics gonna win this year too?
We winning. Stamp it.
Red Sox.
Well,
Patriots.
we went 100 days without a parade.
Yeah, gosh, feel so bad for y'all. Well, I mean, in Atlanta this year, we had the soccer team win, so that's something.
Congrats.
It was actually interesting. My friend that works down there in Atlanta, he tweeted out that the announced attendance for the Super Bowl, 70,000 people, and the announced attendance for the MLS Cup that was also there, same stadium, 73,000 people. Little interesting. I know the tickets are a little bit more expensive for the Super Bowl, but just something cool to think about. Maybe soccer's not that far behind. Any other parting words?
Well, I think, you either love them or you hate them, but you have to appreciate what they've done. It's just, we're never going to see this sustained excellence in the salary cap era, I don't think, certainly not in my lifetime, and I don't think in your lifetimes either.
No,
it's ridiculous.
No, definitely not. And I hope we never see this again because this is miserable at times.
All right. Well,
yeah, it's only fun when it's your team.
Yeah, exactly. It's a lot more fun to enjoy
when it's Atlanta's turn. I will gracefully allow you to bask in the glory for 20 years.
When that happens, yes, thank you.
I'm saying that because I know it's not going to happen.
Thank you. I guess I kind of got that a little bit with LeBron and all that winning and stuff,
Yeah.
But even then we didn't always finish. So. Speaking of the NBA, Danny.
All right, yeah, well, we are done the NFL. We're going on to the NBA next. Going to talk a lot of AD and KP and other initials. Thank you for coming on, Dad. Congrats to us. Sorry, Preston. And we'll see you guys right after the short break.
Thank you for having me.
All right, and welcome back to the Flop Sports Podcast. We are now ready to work into the NBA because honestly, leading up to the Super Bowl, I'd kind of forgotten about the Super Bowl because all these NBA storylines that broke last week. So we got to try to wrap our heads around them now, and even some more stuff coming out about some of the stuff today. But let's start with the big one, the big fish, Anthony Davis. First of all, put out that public trade request. Got fined for the public trade request.
Gets fined.
Taken out of the intro video.
Yep.
And my favorite of the week is his dad, Anthony Davis Sr.
Oh no.
Saying this to ESPN in a text.
I don't like
that I would never want my son to play for Boston after what they done to Isaiah Thomas. No loyalty. Guy gives his heart and soul, and they traded him.
Oh no, I hated hearing that.
I love it.
Did you make this up? Where'd you find this?
I am Anthony Davis Sr.
I know. This is awful. I thought we could just wheel and deal these people like cattle and it wouldn't matter. And look at this.
Well, we'll break down all of it in just a second, but let's get to the news coming out today. Anthony Davis put out a list, and the Celtics are not on the list.
Oh, no.
On the list are two of my favorite teams, the Lakers and the Bucks. Yes, the Milwaukee Bucks. The New York Knicks, and that other team in Los Angeles that, for some reason continues to exist, the Los Angeles Clippers. So that's the list for Anthony Davis. Those are the teams that he would sign long-term for. That's not the teams that, necessarily have made offers, because right now only the Lakers have really made a firm offer right now. The Clippers have not made an offer at this time. The Bucks have not made an offer. The Clippers have, doesn't really seem like they have a strong package to put out there. And then the Knicks, they're going to have to wait till the NBA draft comes around and they see what pick they get before they can really get into the dealing. They've already made some deals. We'll talk about that. But
let's start with the Lakers.
Yeah,
I got their latest offer right here. It was Lonzo, Kuzma, Ingram, Lance, Rondo, Beasley, and 2 first-rounders. That's like half the team.
And potentially taking back Solomon Hill's contract from the Pelicans. I think he's owed like about $12 million or $15 million or something like that. It's a pretty hefty contract right now to take back. And they would stretch that contract, which would put a little bit more salary on the books. So they might be trying to bring in a third team, especially since Lonzo Ball has already said that he doesn't want to go to New Orleans.
His dad said he doesn't want to go to New Orleans.
His dad said today that he wants to go to Phoenix and play. So
go figure.
LeVar Ball, the new general manager for the Los Angeles Lakers. Who knew? So, I mean, it's been my biggest thing all week. What do you think about that deal, first of all?
Well, look, it's a lot of players. Some of them, you have the Ingram and the Lonzo and the Kuzmas that could be good. But the Lakers, like, as we've seen, when LeBron's not playing, aren't that great. So you're getting some, like, okay stuff. I don't know. It's like, if that's the best offer they get, sure, do it. But it seems like they could get a better offer.
This is what I've asked everyone that has told me, I'm not really impressed with the offer. What is a better offer that you are going to get? Because I will tell you right now that I do not believe Boston puts Jason Tatum in the deal.
That's the better offer.
I don't think they do it.
It's also the other picks, because Boston has picks that aren't their own that are way better.
Even those picks now, the Kings pick is not looking as good because they're going to be a late lottery team.
Memphis,
the Memphis Grizzlies pick is looking a little bit better. But I mean, the Clippers pick that they're going to be a playoff team, so that's not even a lottery pick. So those picks have lost a little bit of the luster, and I think by the time the season's over, when they can actually make a trade, we'll see where those picks end up, but they could be even worse. And I still don't believe Jason Tatum's in that deal. And if Tatum's not in the deal, I think it's a no-go, because are you going to tell me Jaylen Brown is a better piece than potentially Lonzo, Ingram, and Kuzma?
Maybe. Yeah.
Plus, then all three of them. Three of them.
I'm going to say that if Lonzo doesn't want to stay and he's like, I'm not staying here, then he's he's a rental.
Somewhere else.
Kuzma is kind of your typical, like, J.R. Smith type. Like, he's kind of a streaky, put up 20 one night, 5 the next. So Ingram's the piece you're talking about.
I think what they have said is they want to find a potential All-NBA player. I don't see that unless Tatum's in a deal. I don't think anyone else has an All-NBA player they're willing to give up. Some people have talked about the Raptors possibly getting into the mix and offering up Pascal Siakam and OG Anunoby. I don't think either of those guys are stars. Like, I think Pascal Siakam is like being way overhyped now. Like, before he was really underrated. Now we've done what we do in NBA Circle and overhype someone now. He's not going to ever be anything more than a third option on a good team.
What do you think about, I mean, the Pelicans have said they don't want to trade with the Lakers, though. I don't know why, but
it's just this thing that happens in the West where teams don't want to do it. But now it seems like, because at first, Woj dropped another bomb saying that the Pelicans weren't even answering Rob Pelinka's calls.
Yep.
But as of today, the Pelicans countered offer and wanted to ask for 2 first-round picks. So, like, this is picking up a lot of steam right now.
What day is when's the trade deadline? Is that Thursday?
Thursday. Yeah.
Yeah. So here's what I'll say: if a trade's gonna happen, it's gonna be the Lakers. Wednesday night. I don't think
it's
anyone else is going to beat that deal.
Yeah, I think it's always been like if it's going to happen now, it's going to be the Lakers. If it happens in the summer, then you're going to have a whole lot of other teams in there. I think in the summer, I would say the Knicks would probably jump to the front of things, just because they can offer, especially if they get that number 1 pick. If they don't get the number 1 pick, but they get a top 3 pick, I think that's still valuable. If it drops out of those top 3, then I don't think they have as good of a deal anymore. But if you can offer Zion Williamson and you can offer maybe Kevin Knox, if
you get Zion, why even bother at that point? You have Zion now.
Well, yeah, but I think they're thinking, maybe we can get Kevin Durant in here, or maybe we can get that point guard for the Celtics. What's his name? What's that guy? Kyrie Irving. Oh yeah, there we go.
Terry Rozier, is that what you're talking about?
No, not that guy. The Celtics can keep him. But speaking of Kyrie Irving, we will move on now to the Kyrie Irving. This time, no drama with his team for now. He's taking a break on that. And just people asking him about his free agency plans and what he's been saying. And, earlier in the year, he said that he was planning on re-signing there.
I remember that.
Yeah, I'm sure every Celtics fan was like, oh, that was a great day. Oh, man, now it's over. And he said, I don't owe anybody blank. So that's
soup.
His feelings.
He doesn't know anybody's soup. That's what he said.
Yeah, doesn't know anyone's soup. So that's his feeling now. What do you think as a Celtics fan?
I'm not cough. I am a little sick. Sorry, guys. All right. I'm not, very happy hearing it. I was way happier in October when he was like, I'm going to sign here. But here we are. I've been doing a deep dive.
Are you nervous now?
No. He'll be back.
No? He'll be back?
After we win the championship, he'll be back.
I'm just saying, if Kyrie leaves,
we're still a good team.
Why? Sure, they're still a good team, but would you still make the move for AD if Kyrie leaves?
Well, considering AD doesn't even want to stay.
Exactly.
Probably not.
Exactly. That's so the Celtics they're not even on the table now.
Well, I mean, AD kind of hurt the Pelicans' negotiating chances with the Celtics by saying,
oh, for sure.
If he had said, if they were on the short list, then it's like maybe the Celtics consider giving Tatum.
And you don't think that was Rich Paul's plan the whole time?
Oh, it's definitely his plan. I've heard that he's the one who leaked that Kyrie might not come back.
I'm sure. I think it's a whole thing going on right now because Kyrie and AD are good friends. They're best friends. And I think it's all lining up for 3 stars lining in the Staples Center. And it's not for the Clippers. It's for the Lakers. LeBron bringing in Kyrie Irving, mending that relationship, apologizing for it. That was step 1. Now step 2, getting Kyrie out of Boston, getting him there, getting AD there. So there you go.
You want to hear Bill Simmons' take on Kyrie?
Always.
Bill Simmons says, Kyrie needs to stop talking about leadership. He's terrible at it. He's incredibly fun to watch, but if they traded him within the next 6 days, I'd be fine with it. Go to New York in July and play for the worst NBA owner of the 21st century. Good luck. Sounds a little bitter over there.
I mean, I don't blame him. Since I've been, a LeBron fan, I've obviously experienced my fair share of Kyrie Irving, and no, he's not a leader. He's never. I don't know if he's claimed to be. Maybe he's claimed to be a leader, but I don't think anyone else has really ever called him a good leader.
Right.
And now that he is in this leadership position on the Celtics, it's clear that's not his strong suit. And maybe that's why he apologized to LeBron, because he's like, man, I don't know how you did this.
Here's the
people
thing,
like me are crazy.
This wouldn't be that big a deal if he never said what he said in October.
Yeah.
But he did say what he said in October, and now he wants to pretend like it didn't happen and that no one should be upset.
If I was an NBA player, if I was blessed with that talent, I would never say, yeah, for sure, I'm coming here, because you don't know what's going to happen for the next, 8 months. Like, the season's a long time, especially if you're going to go to the playoffs. Like,
Yep.
it's a long time till you get to July, all right? So don't start talking in October and saying, yep, I'm definitely planning on re-signing here. I mean, it's even the same thing because Chris Middleton said the other day for the Bucks said, I plan on staying here, for a long time with Giannis, and like they're both committed to staying with the Bucks. I love that. I love hearing that as a Bucks fan, but I'm not going to hold him to that because I understand like things are going to change. But
well, that's where you and I are different. I'm holding Kyrie to what he said forever.
That's what I said. Other fans are different. Other fans are different. All right. How about the move that actually has happened this week? Craziness. Kristaps Porzingis, the only good player on the Knicks roster, traded to Dallas for DeAndre Jordan, Dennis Smith Jr., Wes Matthews, and they sent back the other way Tim Hardaway Jr., Trey Burke, and Courtney Lee. So basically what this does for the Knicks, on the Knicks side of it, is it frees up 2 max spots in free agency because Wes Matthews and DeAndre Jordan will both be gone. They might even get bought out in New York.
Yep.
So that could be interesting, DeAndre Jordan being available for someone to pick up. That's not a bad in-season acquisition.
Well, can you believe how fast this trade went down? I got the notification on my phone that they had a team meeting and that he was upset. 30 seconds later, it was like traded. I was like, whoa, what?
No, it played out like the best GIF I could find to describe it was the one from Anchorman where Ron Burgundy's sitting back and he's like, well, that escalated quickly.
Yeah, right.
Because that's exactly what happened. I got the notification that they had that team meeting. A little bit later, I got a notification saying that 4 teams like the Nets and some other teams were in on a deal. I don't even know if the Mavericks were included in that. They might have been. And then like 20 minutes later, it was like trade done. Bye. Kristaps going there, and now we get Luka and Kristaps together. That's pretty cool.
Oh, that's gonna be really fun to watch. I mean, Dallas, Mark Cuban, he did it again. They are relevant.
He done did it. I was watching a little bit of Kristaps' introductory press conference today. Awkwardly enough, Trey Burke was sitting next to him. It's like, yeah, people were there to talk to Trey Burke at the press conference. But there was a guy from the New York Post there, and he asked Kristaps, if he could kind of talk about, what led to his trade, why he didn't have faith in the organization. And, Mark Cuban and Rick Carlisle would quickly just stomped him down, and Kristaps gave a pretty good answer saying, I just want to look forward right now. I don't think right now is the time and stuff.
Yeah, Mark Cuban literally stomped that guy. He's like, who let you in here?
Took him down to the schoolyard and stomped him. It was brutal.
And now the question at hand is, are the Knicks geniuses? Do they know something that no one else knows, that they're getting KD and Kyrie or Jimmy Butler and someone else? Yeah. Or did they make the world's dumbest trade, give away all of their future just for cap space?
Well, I listened to some stuff today about this, and I think there's 2 sides to it. I think they made a good choice. Either way you slice it, I think they made a good choice. Because on the one hand, now, yes, you have this cap space. So if they do know something and they are going to get Kyrie and KD, who are also, Kyrie's also friends with KD, believe that or not, that then great, it worked. You did exactly what you wanted to do. On the flip side, you're getting rid of a guy in Kristaps that, he's injury prone. First of all, I think we can agree, he is injury prone. He doesn't just pick up little nicks and stuff. He's an injury prone guy. Second of all, he doesn't want to be there. And third of all, you don't want to give a huge money contract to a guy that's 1, injury prone, and 2, doesn't want to be there.
That's true.
So why not start over and just say, hey, if we get the free agents this summer, amazing, perfect, exactly what we want to do. If not, let's get this draft pick.
If not, we're in the same place we've been for the last 50 years.
Sure, yeah. What's Knicks fans understand? We're just not a great organization, but maybe you get Zion, and you just start building around Zion. And you got a pretty good young player back in Dennis Smith Jr. who could, potentially be something. You still have Kevin Knox. So, I mean, they could still build something there that's a little bit younger and doesn't have to rely on someone that's so injury prone like Kristaps.
I have a feeling Dennis Smith and Kevin Knox are going to be oddly injury prone the rest of this year.
Someone said, wouldn't it just be amazing, 12, Dennis Smith gives them 12 games, of just insane performances and, keeps them from winning, keeps them from losing enough to get Zion, how just ironic would that be? Some other trade stuff that come up was, speaking of the Pelicans, not trading Jrue Holiday. What do you think about that?
I mean, do they think they're going to be good still, or
it's not... if you're gonna trade, Anthony Davis, then why not just trade Jrue Holiday too, right?
Yeah, and he's good. A lot of people would need a player like Jrue Holiday.
Jrue Holiday, oh my gosh, there are so many teams that would love to have a Jrue Holiday right now.
Yep.
But unfortunately, they don't get him. Pelicans also looking to trade Julius Randle and Nikola Mirotic. You're going to trade those guys, but you're not going to trade Jrue Holiday, so you're just going to make Holiday suffer through all of this.
Yep.
That'll really show him. Holiday and Jahlil Okafor, the next star tandem there. Trailblazers, they've had some interest in Otto Porter, but they actually just made a move to get Rodney Hood in there. So what do you think about that move?
I guess somebody values Rodney Hood.
Yeah, I mean, he was cheap.
He's an alright, 9th or 10th man off the bench, I guess.
I think that's all they're looking for. I mean, yeah. I mean, his competition right now is Evan Turner, so...
Yeah, he's not a game changer, but I don't know. They're trying to take a shot on somebody. They just want to get some spark.
It's a low risk, maybe medium high ceiling.
It's a low risk, low reward kind of play,
I don't think it's low reward. He could still do some stuff off the bench, maybe be a 6th man or something. So probably not going to be in on Otto Porter anymore. Talked about Mirotic. The Jazz interested in Mirotic. Also, though, interested in Mike Conley. That could be an interesting one. Thinking about trading Ricky Rubio for Mike Conley.
That'd be real fun to watch. I'd be all about
Mike
that.
Conley is perfect for that team.
Yep.
They're looking for someone that can, add a little bit more scoring, but also at the same time keep, the defense the same. That's exactly what Mike Conley.
Yeah, I mean, they're the new grit and grind. So yeah,
exactly.
Send them over.
Exactly. When Rudy Gobert is done crying about not being an all-star, then maybe they can be the new Zebo and Gasol. I don't know.
Yep. Also interesting, this week, the Lakers, your team, LeBron's team, their assistant head coach, Luke Walton, he had a heated exchange with basically all the veterans after the loss to the Warriors. Yeah.
I don't know why there was a heated exchange. I watched that game and I was look, Steph played terribly for 3 quarters and that's why y'all were still in the game, and then he decided not to be terrible anymore and be Steph Curry.
They did what the Warriors do. They hang around, and then the 4th quarter, they're I guess we'll play defense and make threes now.
They're let's go ahead and end this game. But yeah, it's the most random guys, yelling too. It's Michael Beasley and JaVale McGee. First of all, it still baffles me that Michael Beasley gets playing time. He's not good. Play Mo Wagner. Play Svi Mikhailuk. Play these young guys. Don't play freaking Michael Beasley.
I didn't hear Rondo's name in there, so you're good right now.
No, I love Rondo. I think Rondo's been great for us.
That's what I'm saying. If Rondo turns on the coach, you're done for. But I didn't hear Rondo's name, so Walton's good right now.
Something he's been known to do. But yeah, All-Star reserves. Anything stick out to you from that?
Oh man, I love that they're letting Dirk join this in the
letting D Wade, Dirk Nowitzki in there.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Let the old guys in there.
Exactly. I think this should be. I almost say I think this should be a thing every year, but then I'm like, no, one year it's gonna be like, someone really just bad, and it's like
gonna be DeAndre Jordan.
Yeah, it's gonna be DeAndre Jordan. Is like, I don't really think he qualifies on the Dwayne Wade, Dirk Nowitzki level as like a top 25 all time player, but or like a Nick Collison, even though I know he's already retired, but yeah, and Victor Oladipo, who we talked about, he's hurt, out for the rest of the year. But D'Angelo Russell getting a replacement there, so the Nets have an all-star.
I liked that pick.
I did too. I thought it was good.
Cough.
I was worried that they're going to pick Jimmy Butler.
I know, me too, and I was just happy. I saw it wasn't Butler, and I was like, yes, not Butler. This is great.
Anybody but Butler. That's my rule. All right. That is it for the NBA. We'll be right back with the final block of the show right after this.
All right, guys, we are back after yet another commercial break. Britta. Good. All right, first Tim Tebow update. First of all, he picked the Patriots in the Super Bowl, so his legend lives on. Not many people can do that.
Is he on Tony Romo's level, though?
Oh, he's on Tony Romo's level.
Second of all, other thing? Yeah.
Tebow was golfing with some buddies. Someone hit a bad shot and said Jesus as a expletive, and Tim Tebow rebutted with "loves you" tagged on. So, man, it's like, just wow, what a guy.
Don't use the Lord's name in vain, right?
He showed them.
Yeah, showed you. Elon, how are they doing?
Well, we lost again. Lost to Drexel, fallen to 8-16. Lost to the Dragons.
Good stuff. But I sent you earlier this week, Elon won on a buzzer beater because Tyler Sebring did not pump fake the money shot.
Oh my goodness. When Preston and I were in college and we followed Elon, there's this one guy. We've watched him pump fake many, many game winners. So when someone does not do that, we give them props. So way to go, Tyler.
Way to not pump fake the money shot. All right, we'll skip on down. No Rex of the Week, no Instagram update. Skip on down to the 60-second story. Sign off. Here we go. Danny, who do we have?
I think we should do AD, Kyrie, and Kristaps.
Kristaps, oof. All right, let's do it.
Alrighty, I'm going to pull up the timer, and we begin.
Anthony Davis walks into Dell Demps, the general manager of the New Orleans Pelicans office, tells him, look, bro, I'm done. I'm not playing for y'all anymore. You gotta trade me. Lakers, Bucks, Clippers, and Knicks. That's it.
Kyrie Irving, Boston Celtic for life, calls up his buddy Anthony Davis and says, hey, why don't you come to the Celtics? We got a good thing going on over here. We got me. We got other guys. We got me.
Anthony Davis Sr., Anthony Davis's dad, takes the phone away and says, nah, bro, I see how y'all treat Isaiah Thomas. Nah, we're going to the Knicks. We'll meet you in New York. Meanwhile, Kristaps Porzingis is in New York for now.
All right.
I was going to let you pick it up from there, but we all know what happens after that. That's exactly, actually, word for word how this whole thing happened. So, there you go. There you have it. Anything else you want to say today?
I'm sorry for coughing. I'll try and not cough next week.
Try to not be sick. There we go. Good little resolution till next week. Congrats again on the Patriots' 6th Super Bowl ring. We hope that is the last they ever win. And we hope Boston fans soon know what it's like to lose for a long time yet again. But that is all we have this week. This is Preston, and that's Danny.
All right, bye, guys.